Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Monster Hunter World video. In today's video we are back taking a look at another brand new monster. This time it is the bird wyvern, Kulu-Ya-Ku, one of the monsters you'll fight much earlier on in the game. It is a much easier monster as well, so for those of you guys that are new to Monster Hunter, then consider these sort of raptor type monsters as your sort of like introduction to the game. They do still, they can still kill you if you don't pay attention, so don't necessarily think that you're just going to be like, literally being given the victory, but at the same time they are the easier monsters, the weaker monsters, and they're kind of like your intro, your stepping stone, so to speak, before you start moving on to some of the bigger monsters later on. However, I still want to show you guys this gameplay, even though it's a little bit shorter, because one, it is a brand new monster, it's got some interesting behavioural patterns that we can kind of talk about, but on top of that, this is also a capture quest, so pretty much, in fact, I'd say all of the gameplay you guys would have seen up until now is normally hunting quests, where you kill the monster, you carve at the end, or if it's something like a demonstration at one of the game shows, sometimes they don't even go as far as to kill the monster, sometimes they'll just, fight for a little bit, and then they'll go to a base camp, and then they'll just wrap up the stream. So this is a chance for you guys to see a capture quest end to end. You'll actually go through, trap the monster, use some trank bombs, and afterwards go back to Astera to actually see that it actually goes to the research platform. So should be pretty interesting for you guys. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you do, then a like would be super appreciated. Any questions, by all means, drop them down below. Also, before we dive into the rest of the video, don't forget that I'm still running the Xbox One X console giveaway. So if you guys want a chance to win that, definitely check out the link in the description box down below. But Kulu-Ya-Ku, as mentioned, it's bird wyvern. It is a weaker monster, something you fight early on, but it has these strengthened front arms that it uses to pick up items. It can pick up rocks, it can pick up eggs. And that's actually one of the reasons that Ryozo, the producer, actually says it's one of his favourite monsters, because he just likes the way that it behaves. It's quite comical, the way that it carries these things. And according to Tokuda, he actually recounts a story when we were kind of like talking in the interview where he was fighting a Diablos, and Kulu-Ya-Ku actually turned up at one point with a rock and basically just hit Diablos and then ran away, which is kind of comical in itself. You might have just seen right there as well that I made the Kulu-Ya-Ku drop the rock. So one of the cool things you can do when it's holding them, because if it has a rock and you try and attack it from the front, you will bounce, and of course that will blunt your weapon, so it's a good way to kind of like rip through your sharpness. But one of the easiest ways to get rid of that, well, yes, you can just hit the monster and it will drop them. If you just put your weapon away and switch to your slinger and then fire like a couple of rocks at it, if you hit it, then it will just drop whatever it's carrying, whether that be an egg, whether it be a rock. So that is essentially an easy way to get it to clear out those items. However, moving over to here, now one thing I do want to call out is that this quest I'm doing right now is one of the optional quests. So if you guys saw my video talking about like bounties and investigations, then this is one of those quests that you don't have to do to progress the story. It is one of the ones you will select from the research center or the resource center, and you will basically just be able to do it at your leisure. But this one is still an early quest, and it is somewhat tutorialized. So you'll see in just a moment that a prompt will come up on the side of the screen from the handler, and she'll basically tell me that the monster is ready to capture. Now bear in mind, that is not something you will normally get in-game. You won't normally get that kind of help. But because this is essentially the first capture quest you will ever do, then this is basically the game's way of saying, this is how it works. So right now, it's drooling. It is close to limping. Of course, there are kind of different signs. So again, if you guys are new to the series, when it comes to capturing a monster, you will typically need to watch out for these signs. The most obvious one, where it is 100% ready, is when a monster starts to limp. And, you'll then see it obviously move slower. It'll obviously move, slightly differently as well. And then you can basically go and follow it to a location, put down a trap, and you can then use your trank bombs to capture it. But in this instance, it's a little bit before the limp, but it is still drooling. So it's still, obviously weak. And now it's trying to kind of move towards a cave, move towards the nest, somewhere that it can try and regain some energy, ideally sleep. So I've decided to throw on the ghillie mantle so that I can, not be seen. Slide down here. It is going towards this nest here because Kulu-Ya-Ku, another behavioural thing, is known to steal eggs from nests. So I'm not entirely sure what nest is down here, what kind of monster belongs here normally. But either way, that's the kind of primary purpose it's there. But since I'm wearing the ghillie mantle, it's not going to notice me. So I'm going to go and drop down a trap and then use the trank bombs. Now, trank bombs in this behave much more like they have done in more recent Monster Hunter games, should I say, where they are basically like clouds you throw on the floor as opposed to throwing directly forward. So throw down 2 trank bombs and it's then captured. The game will then, or the handler will then tell me that while you can't carve, you can of course get increased rewards in the post-reward screen. So that's one of the reasons that you'll often want to capture. And when you take a look at the actual monster research book in-game, it'll give you kind of like an idea as to some of the items you can get when you capture it versus when you carve it, some of the drop rates and stuff. So while you don't get percentage drop rates, you do of course get the little kind of stars to indicate this fact. However, The other thing I want to talk about is its platform, because one of the cool things is that when you capture a monster and you come back from a quest, you'll actually see it on this research platform, and it's just kind of a cool like narrative thing because it actually like makes sense. It's like you capture this monster, you brought it back, they're going to study it, and they will then basically use that as a means to build up your knowledge base on the monster. If you do actually complete a quest and it's not a capture quest, then sometimes you'll see different monsters here. Sometimes the platform is empty, but if it is a capture quest, it always ends up being the monster that you just captured. So that's pretty much it. That was a quick look, very quick look at some Kulu-Ya-Ku gameplay. Of course, as mentioned, it was an easier quest, so it wasn't going to be anywhere near as long as when I fought, say, Tobikadachi or Puke, but it still gives you guys a quick look at a new monster and, more importantly, some capture gameplay. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure you keep it locked for much more Monster Hunter World videos. They're coming very, very soon. And until then, take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.